Welcome to the Golf Report podcast, joined by Connor Lash, the head men's golf coach at Wright State. Coach, can you tell me your team, had an eight-stroke victory at the Golden Grizzlies Intercollegiate in Michigan,
Yep.
and also sophomore Tommy Hollenbach got the individual victory, and junior Shane Oakes finished second, one stroke back. So can you just tell me about your team's, eight-stroke victory at this tournament, what it was like to see?
Yeah.
Shane and Tommy, finished first and second.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, it's always good to get a win. I think
Mhm.
it's always hard to win. So it was good to see. We kind of got off to a slow start. I don't think we were playing our best golf, but that last round we seemed to kind of put it together as best as we could, and was good enough to get the win. So
Mhm.
you had some Horizon League schools there, so it was good to kind of go there and kind of see where we stack up against them because it always comes down to the end of the year and the Horizon League championship and everything. So.
Mhm.
The course was playing tough, so I think it was a good test for us, and just not only with our skill, but also mentally, it was a good test for us to kind of grind out some scores and stuff like that. And shooting right around even par in that tournament was a pretty good score. So to go there and get that win, and then also have a couple guys on the team competing for the individual spot, that I think that's huge. I think that just pushes not only those two, but it pushes the whole team. Those guys go out and they go out and practice and qualify all the time and play against each other, and anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So when you see two of your guys go into a tournament and compete, I think it pushes everybody. So I think it just creates that competitive atmosphere. And
Mhm.
Timmy's definitely he he came on a little slow last year, and then at the end of last year he came on real strong, and then this year he's playing really well
Yeah.
too. And Shane's always been a consistent player for us, so
Yeah.
it was really no surprise that they were there. But um, always good to see them there, and then I think it pushed the other guys too because they know that they can play just as good as those guys. So uh, pretty happy with that win. Like I said, with all the Horizon League schools, so I was
Mhm.
pretty happy with how we fought that tournament.
Great. So your team so far in the fall season, second at Golf Week Challenge,
Yeah.
got the win at Oakland's tournament, and then T4th at Bowling Green's tournament, and then you have your final fall season tournament on Monday, Dayton's tournament. So, how would you assess, your three fall season tournaments so far?
Yeah.
T4 first and second, and what do you hope to see, at Dayton's tournament starting Monday?
Yeah. Um, I think
Mhm.
started off down in Myrtle Beach. I think that was
Yeah.
we went there. We played some good golf. Couldn't really put it together, and Arkansas State's a good program, and
Mhm.
they ended up getting the win. So kind of showed us that maybe we need to work a little harder if we want to get our game in a good spot. And then we come back the next week and win. So that was good to see. And then kind of had a little bit of a letdown at the Virtues Intercollegiate. I know we kind of fought back. It was shortened to 36 holes.
Okay.
We fought back and got it to a respectable place. But
Mhm.
I definitely thought that was a tournament we could go in there, and if we played well, we could compete and win.
Mhm.
Uh, After the first round, we weren't in a very good spot. Just didn't have our best stuff. Can't really blame it on the weather. That was when the hurricane and everything was coming through, and it was raining and cold and windy, and we just didn't have our best stuff. But that's golf, and I think we fought back and made it respectable. And then I think it was a good kind of like humbling moment for us, come off a win, and then we kind of spit the bit a little bit at that tournament. So kind of, I think we got back on track. We're going into NCR, a UD's event, course that the guys have played a lot. So I think we can go in there and play well. I think we have a good game plan for that course. We've played well there in the past, and the guys have all played there before. So we should go in there with at least preparation wise should be good, and then whether we can put the game together with the preparation, then I think we'll be in a good spot. But that tournament's always a good one to play in. We look forward to it because it's so close to home. There's a lot of people that come out and watch us play and root us on and things like that. So we usually have a little decent crowd watching us. So it's good to go there and play well. And we share a city with the University of Dayton. Get puts on a great event, but it's always
Mhm.
fun to kind of go in there and compete with them and
Yeah.
kind of go from there. But yeah, we only played 4 fall events. Like in years past, we've played 5.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of go light in the fall, and then we'll kind of pick it back up in the spring, and we'll add a tournament there. So it'll be a little heavier in our championship season. But
Yeah.
would like to end on a high note for sure at NCR.
Yeah. And last spring, your team got three team victories, including winning the Horizon League Championship. And then your team
Mhm.
played in regionals. Obviously, regionals didn't go, the way you would have hoped. Obviously, the goal is
Right.
getting to the national championship. But just for you, how was it to see your team, win conference championship and get, three victories, last spring and, playing regionals?
Yeah. Um, it was good. The goal is always to win conference. So if we can go in a conference and get a ring, that's great and kind of move on to the next level. But I do think we have the program and the guys to try to get past that regional spot and into the national championship.
Okay.
I think last year maybe a little starstruck because we had some younger guys that hadn't really been in that situation before.
Okay.
So we kind of got in there and we didn't really play our best. It was a tough golf course too, and you're playing against some of the best teams in the country. So you got to kind of bring your A game for sure. And we just didn't have it then, but I think we learned a lot from that tournament. Just realizing how good par is on some courses. I think throughout last year when we were winning, you had guys shooting under par and multiple under par, and they thought, oh, I should be able to do that at every golf course. And I think we got into there and kind of got our butt kicked a little bit, but I think we learned from it. And at the end of the day, it's like we won conference, we won some tournaments, we had a lot of individual success. So there was a lot of high notes to take away from last year, and I think we're just going to kind of keep building off that and trying to get better every day. But the goal every year is to win conference and move on. So I think we did that last year, and then we'll build off that experience, and hopefully we can kind of take it to the next level this year.
Yeah. Coach, you grew up in Ohio. You played at Wright State. So can you just tell me about how you got started playing golf, growing up in Ohio? And can you tell me about your time playing at Wright State and, what does it mean to be the head coach, at Wright State, given you attended Wright State yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. So growing up in Ohio, grew up here in Dayton. So
Okay.
always kind of knew about Wright State. My cousin went to Wright State. He's a little bit older than me. So it's kind of a good leeway or good segue for me to get into at Wright State, just knowing him and everything. I played a ton of sports growing up. Golf wasn't really one of my main sports. It was just kind of something that I did. But I did it all the time in the summer. My parents would just drop me off at community with a couple of my buddies, and we'd go play golf there from sun up to sundown. And they'd come pick us up, and
Mhm.
and that was kind of how I learned the game. Really, it was kind of on my own. My dad definitely taught me a lot of things, but um, he kind of got me introduced to the game and just being a good athlete. I kind of tried to figure it out myself. Didn't really take a ton of lessons or anything. So I think sometimes that helps me, but sometimes that hurts me as well. Um, but yeah, and then I played high school basketball and golf, and I really liked basketball. Played in the state tournament. I think it was my junior and senior year. I didn't play great, but I played
Mhm.
decent enough where I thought maybe I could do this at the next level. And then having my cousin here at Wright State, just kind of talking to Coach Samborski when he was here, he gave me a chance, and I got the opportunity to play here at Wright State and stay close to home and everything. And then when I graduated, I went and caddied on the LPGA Tour for a couple of years, so I got some good experience there. And once COVID hit, I wanted to get back into coaching. And the old coach, who's now at Xavier, Brian Arlinghouse, he brought me on as just a volunteer assistant. And a year later, he got the job at Xavier. And Wright State came to me and they offered me the job. And the rest is kind of history. It was kind of just in the right place, right time. But to be able to coach here and where I went to school and everything, I think I have a lot of loyalty and pride in that. And I want the golf program to be as good as it can be, but I also want to get everybody else involved.
Mhm.
All the alumni, all the people who support us and everything like that, because at the end of the day, without those people, we probably wouldn't even have a golf program. So all the alumni and everybody that came before us, they're just as important as the guys on the team now. So just kind of building that team camaraderie with not only the guys on the team, but everybody who's committed their time to the team, it is important to me. So I just want people to be proud of the golf team, and that's kind of my number one goal.
Yeah. So you mentioned you caddied on the LPGA Tour, for a few years, I believe 2018 to 2020. Can
Yep.
you just tell me about caddying on the LPGA Tour? Like, did you travel around a lot, or did you caddy for a specific player or for several players? Or
Yeah.
can you just tell me a
So
little bit about that?
yeah. So I caddied for just one specific player. Her name
Okay.
was Marissa Steen. She's from the
Okay.
Cincinnati area.
Yeah.
I think she went to one of the Lakotas and then went to Memphis.
Okay.
So I caddied for her for a couple years. Yeah, we traveled around. I'd been to Australia, Hawaii, California. I kind of all
Yeah.
all over the place. So it was a blast. I loved getting into inside the ropes and competing with some of the best players in the world.
Hmm.
So that was a blast. You know, it lasted for a couple years and COVID hit and everything was up in the air. I miss it. I love being out on the golf course, but I think the aspect of caddying has helped me a ton with coaching the guys
Okay.
on the course. Just being able to walk the course with them and walk them through game plans and um, shot selection and course management stuff like that. I think that's helped me a lot, and I think when you talk to a player on a golf course, a lot of them are they're maybe a little nervous or excited or amped up and stuff like that. And I think how you just talk to a player can
Hmm.
help them play at their best. So I think I learned a lot of that while caddying on tour. So and then you also just see how the best prepare and practice. You can watch them chart out a golf course, see them on the putting green on the range, what they're working on, and different drills and whatnot. So I think that's definitely helped kind of translate over to the coaching world as well.
Yeah. To finally, coach, I always end on this question, but I'll put a twist on it. So what do you enjoy most about being a college coach? What do you most enjoy most about being, back coaching at Wright State?
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about coaching would have to be just, I think the relationships you have with your players and the athletic department and the people who support your program and everything like that. I think that's what I love the most. But I think when a kid works really hard, or maybe he's struggling and he works really hard and gets out of like a funk or something like that, and then succeeds, um, just I guess kind of the look on their face and the sense of pride that they have that they worked really hard to kind of maybe get out of that slump or accomplish something. I think that's really special as well. But also just I think it's more than golf. I think if you can create good kids who manage their time and are respectful and become productive people of society, I think that's probably the most important thing, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just golf. It's really not that important to the grand scheme of life. And guys come in here and they spend 4 years playing golf, and maybe they go on and play after, but they'll always play golf, of course. But I think if you can teach them more important things than just how to shoot a good score, I think that's really the really rewarding part of coaching comes from. And then to do it at Wright State where I went, I think is just kind of like the icing on top for sure.